For more than 3,000 years, ancient Egypt stood as one of the greatest civilizations in human history. Along the fertile banks of the Nile River, a powerful kingdom emerged, transforming the desert into a land of wealth, innovation, and extraordinary achievement. The annual flooding of the Nile sustained vast farms, supported thriving cities, and gave rise to a civilization unlike any the world had ever seen. The pharaohs ruled not only as kings, but as living gods, believed to protect Egypt and maintain harmony between the people and the divine. Under their leadership, magnificent temples rose toward the heavens, colossal pyramids challenged the limits of human engineering, and skilled craftsmen carved stories into stone that would survive for thousands of years. Egyptian soldiers defended a mighty empire. Merchants brought riches from distant lands, and the kingdom became a symbol of power, prosperity, and culture across the ancient world. To those who lived within its borders, Egypt seemed eternal, a civilization destined to last forever. But beneath its unmatched greatness, hidden weaknesses were already beginning to grow, setting the stage for one of history's most remarkable decline. By the height of the New Kingdom, ancient Egypt had become one of the most powerful empires on earth. Under the leadership of great pharaohs like Thutmose III, Egyptian armies marched far beyond the Nile, conquering new territories and expanding the empire to unprecedented heights. Victory in battle brought unimaginable wealth: gold from Nubia, ivory from Africa, fragrant incense from Arabia, and rare treasures from distant lands poured into Egypt through vast trade networks. The royal treasury overflowed with riches, strengthening the pharaoh's authority and funding ambitious building projects across the kingdom. Life flourished throughout the empire. Bustling markets echoed with the voices of merchants trading fine linen, precious jewelry, exotic spices, and handcrafted goods. Skilled scribes carefully recorded every transaction, while master craftsmen transformed stone, gold, and wood into remarkable works of art. Across the land, magnificent temples and towering statues honored both the gods and the pharaohs. Foreign ambassadors traveled great distances to present gifts and seek alliances, recognizing Egypt as the dominant power of the ancient world. From thriving cities to monumental architecture, the empire stood at the very peak of its glory, appearing stronger and more prosperous than ever before. Despite its immense wealth and military strength, the foundations of ancient Egypt were beginning to crumble. Maintaining a vast empire demanded enormous resources, and decades of costly wars, massive construction projects, and an expanding government placed increasing pressure on the kingdom's economy. Inside the royal court,
the enemy advances while we dispute!
We must protect the core of the empire.
If we do not strike now, all will be lost.
To secure their own positions. At the same time, the priests of Egypt's great temples accumulated extraordinary wealth and authority, often rivaling the power of the pharaoh himself. The balance that had sustained Egypt for centuries was slowly disappearing. Across the kingdom, signs of decline became impossible to ignore. Royal treasuries struggled to support ambitious building projects, leaving magnificent temples unfinished and monuments neglected. Workers grew exhausted, resources became scarce, and confidence in the government steadily declined. Regional governors became more independent, placing their own interests above those of the kingdom. Corruption spread through the administration, weakening Egypt from within. As political divisions deepened and economic hardship increased, the once unshakable empire entered a dangerous period of uncertainty. Although its monuments still inspired awe, the strength that had made Egypt one of history's greatest civilizations was quietly fading. As Egypt's internal divisions deepened, powerful foreign empires recognized an opportunity. The kingdom that had once dominated the ancient world was no longer the unstoppable force it had once been. Its enemies were growing stronger, while Egypt struggled to defend its borders. In the 7th century BC, the mighty Assyrian Empire launched a series of invasions into Egypt. Armed with advanced iron weapons and hardened by years of warfare, the Assyrians overwhelmed Egyptian defenses. Although the Egyptians fought with determination, they could not prevent their cities from falling into enemy hands. A century later, an even greater challenge arrived. In 525 BC, the Persian king Cambyses II defeated the Egyptian army at the Battle of Pelusium, bringing Egypt under Persian rule. For the first time in centuries, the land of the Pharaohs was governed by a foreign empire, marking a profound shift in its long history. Then, in 332 BC, a young Macedonian conqueror named Alexander the Great entered Egypt. Unlike previous invaders, he was welcomed by many Egyptians as a liberator from Persian control. Declared the new pharaoh, Alexander laid the foundations for the city of Alexandria, a magnificent center of learning, trade, and culture. Although Egypt would flourish once again under new rulers, the age of the native pharaohs was drawing ever closer to its end. Centuries after Alexander's conquest, Egypt was ruled by the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty. Its most famous ruler was Cleopatra VII, a brilliant and determined queen who would become the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. Fluent in several languages and admired for her intelligence, Cleopatra fought tirelessly to preserve her kingdom as the growing power of Rome threatened Egypt's independence. To secure her throne, Cleopatra formed powerful alliances with Julius Caesar and later with the Roman general Mark Antony. Together, they dreamed of preserving Egypt's sovereignty and building a future free from Roman domination. But Rome was descending into civil war, and another leader, Octavian, was determined to eliminate every rival standing in his way. In 31 BC, the fate of Egypt was decided at the Battle of Actium. The combined fleets of Mark Antony and Cleopatra faced Octavian's navy in one of history's most decisive naval battles. Overwhelmed by superior strategy and military strength, their forces suffered a crushing defeat. The following year, Roman armies entered Alexandria. The story of ancient Egypt continues to inspire the world thousands of years later.